Thank you. And thank you for electing me. I certainly couldn't have done it without you. But now we have one of us on the town board in Huntington. And so I'll give you a couple of stories. It started before I actually took seat, which was in January 1st. There was protocol. They were supposed to make up business cards and letterhead for me, going through general services. The head of general services said, no, I'm not doing that. Okay. So when somebody says no to me, I always have a problem with that. So I forced the issue, and I had to make up the letterhead. I went down, I wanted to check it, I took a copy. The first letter I wrote was to him. And on January 3rd, I would be in at 8 o'clock. I wanted to take a ride and see all of his facilities. Okay? January 3rd, I came in. We had a big discussion. I asked him for an inventory list. He gave me an inventory list of all the equipment, the heavy equipment, the cars, the trucks, that kind of thing. As I was going through there, I noticed, and I'm in the business, so I know some of that stuff. I noticed they had 4 tow trucks. 4 tow trucks? Why do you have 4 tow trucks? You go, oh, well, we do towing for all the, other departments. I said, okay. I said, you have a 2003 Kenworth tow truck here. It's got to be worth $60,000 or $80,000 used. I said, how many times do you use these trucks in a year? He said, 10. Okay? So I said, if you put it out to contract, it would cost you $2,000 a year to have those things moved. Well, that's the way we work here. I said, so you don't want to put anything out to contract? No. Okay. So we drove around. We went into a facility that was about the size of this. They had a number of facilities that were locked up, but a garage that was maybe a little bit smaller than this room. Twice as high. Shelves going down, with parts. I looked at it, it was like my 13-year-old daughter, throwing things on the shelves. So I looked at things and I count, money. I went over and I took this little aluminum housing and I looked at it, about $110. There's 12 of them up there. No tags, nothing. I said, who has the inventory list for this stuff? He turned to me and he said, we don't have an inventory list. Okay? Now, as a businessman, there's no way you can run a business properly. You guys elected me to run the business of the town of Huntington with 4 other people. I found this appalling. And I told him so. I was not happy about telling him so I may have been a little rough. What happened was, it was shocking to me. Because you're probably talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, okay? And I haven't seen all the facilities. They don't have anything. Anything from a car down. That means lawnmowers. They have on the bigger lawnmowers, they have inventory. The small lawnmowers, generators, welders, weed whackers, blowers, they don't have an inventory list. How do you buy these things? So I said, we were in the electrical department, and I said, let me ask you something. I said, in the morning you have pole 154 that has got a problem. What do? You send the guy out with no inventory in his truck, he figures out what the problem is, writes a list up, and then comes here the rest of the day and tries to figure out what parts he needs? I said, it's not productive. Why are we doing this? Yeah. We went on to another site after that. Went in, there was a building with a blue tarp on it. Okay. I said, what the hell is that? He said, well, that's the sanitation repair facility. I said, but you're general services. You can't put a roof on that thing? He said, well, it was condemned 27 years ago. God's honest truth. I'm not lying to you. I went ballistic in my truck because I was driving my truck at no cost to the town because I wanted to have control of what I was doing there. I said, if that was a private citizen, they would have locked us up and thrown away the key. I said, that's appalling. He says, well, they're building a new building. They're almost finished with it now, behind it. So we went around. Big, beautiful building. Okay? Steel, they were just finishing it up. I go into the parking lot, in my truck, and we're hitting these potholes, and it's in bad shape. I said, when are they paving the parking lot? He says, they're not. I said, they're not. I said, you bring a truck in here for repairs, you're going to break an axle. He says, well, they don't have the money. I said, how much money are you talking about? He says, $1.7 million. That's what I thought. So what happened was, I had enough of this. I go driving around the corner, and I see a big tow truck from an outside company towing a town garbage truck. I go, what the hell's that? You know, he did not have an answer for me. He couldn't understand it. Okay? So I had enough of this, and I had to go back, and I figured, let me go into town hall and, you know, just relax a little bit. So I go in, they have my office there. I get on the computer. There's a thing called Munis software. Okay? It's all the record keeping of the town. So I click on it. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. I started at 7 that morning. I didn't leave until 5 o'clock that night. About 3:30, I click on it. Needs a password. Okay? You know? So I call IT. I said, you know, I can't get onto the Munis software. They said, oh, I get the phone. I call the controller. I said, hey, I said, I can't get on the Munis software. She says, oh, she says, no council person has ever asked to be on it before. I said, they have now. So what happened was, I then handed the phone over to the IT person, and she said, okay, I'll tell him. She said, you have to have an email to it, you know, to the controller to get it. I said, okay. She needs a paper trail, no problem. I got right on there. I said, as per our conversation, I want the Munis software hooked up into my office. ASAP, I'll be in tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and I'd like to see it then. The next day I got in. I didn't get in at 10. I was on some job sites, looking around the town. I got in around 1. Went over to my computer, nothing happened. So I went down to the assistant supervisor. The supervisor was out of town. So,
Florida.
I'm not commenting. So what happened was, I said to her, oh, you know, about my first day, that I was not happy that we didn't have any inventory controls, and there were some things, and then I needed to speak to the controller in regards to getting the software. And she then, you know, said, you know, that's kind of hard software to figure out, and you know, you may not want to see that. Okay, I appreciate that, but I'm going to go down there and get it anyway. So I went down, and I spoke to the woman. She said, well, you know, you just can't get it, and you know, there's some problems with it. And so I got into a very heated conversation. Now I'm sort of goofy up here, and I'll be the first one to admit it. Now I'm sort of casual and easygoing. But when I get pissed off, things just click into gear. And so I went at her, and I made it loud, okay? And I was very adamant about it. And she got the idea, and she said, okay, we'll get it set up for you tomorrow. So okay, fine. I walked out of the hallway and into her accountants and, you know, clerks and people that do the business of the town. And I said, hello everyone. I said, my name's Gene Cook. I said, and I'd like to apologize for being so loud. They all got up and gave me a standing ovation. This happened just the first week, and there's probably another 100 stories like that. But there's one that I want to tell you about because it disturbs me greatly. I had found out that there was a piece of property in Huntington, a couple acres. It was sold, and I believe it was an IRS auction back in 2002 for almost $1 million. Okay, private owner picked it up. The people that were there before had left it a mess. It took them about 2 years to clean it up. And in 2005, the town came in under eminent domain and took it. They then offered the guy $325,000 for it. Okay? Now I have to tell you, there's one thing that I absolutely have an issue with, is government taking anything from us. So this is ongoing since 2005. The owner that it was taken from, that had the rightful ownership of it, filed a lawsuit. Why would he take, I think they wanted to offer him a third of what he actually paid for it. And he cleaned it up. So been in litigation. It is still in litigation, okay? This is a real issue for me, and we should all be outraged by it. The government, we should not allow them to take any property. I still don't know, I have not got an answer of why they took it, okay? But they spent tens of thousands of dollars in litigation, and after they took it, they found out that it was contaminated, okay? There were some issues with it, okay? Needs to be cleaned up. They're saying $16 million, okay? And I said, $16 million? Wouldn't you people know this before you took the property? You know, what are you doing here? So I have a meeting with Frank Petrone tomorrow. I'm going to see if we can resolve it because, you know, with simple negotiations and common sense, there may be a way of us doing something. My personal opinion is, I think the owner should have it, okay? And I will do everything I can. Now, I don't know the owner, and, you know, maybe that person doesn't want it. I don't know. Well, you know, something, I don't know, you know, again, I have background in there, and the problem is that I don't believe that's the right number.
Probably not.
It's in Huntington. I don't want to get too much into it because it is in litigation. But the problem is, this is what's going on. And this is in the first 30 days that I've been there. And now, in the first 30 days, the first week I could give you hundreds of stories. Now I could give you thousands. This is what's going on every day, okay? And we need good, hard-working people, like myself, to go in there and do the right thing. I told you originally, I never wanted to be a politician. But we need good people to do the right thing. It is my job to do the best job I can for you. And that's what I'm there for. Yes, sir.
I just want to make one suggestion. Carry a camera, document everything. And then put a slideshow together.
I think it'd be a whole lot easier to carry a gun.
Shoot them with a camera.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Gina, you know, you're familiar with Little Neck Road going
Yeah.
towards the Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
You know that one turn when you come down is about 20 feet of a shoulder that's
Yes.
painted and all the cars drive on? Well, I went to them and I said, well, why can't you take a double yellow line, double it over, and take the cars away from each other?